Boom, guys. Listen, I'm just on my way down now. I'm gonna do a swim session and some sauna. I just guys want to talk to you about mindset, right? This is something I learned a lot about during my special forces training. And it's something that I've talked extensively about on this channel. By the way, guys, make sure to subscribe down below, okay? You'll find a thing down here, I think. Subscribe to the channel, like a lot more of this stuff to come, but I want to talk about mindset, right? And this principle that I'm about to share with you is something I learned during my special forces training, or like during my whole military career. I guess six years in the military, because all people, they talk about mindset, being strong, and not giving up, and all this stuff. And I kind of, you can kind of split it into two different parts in one way, because yes, resilience and that stuff, when you're under pressure, when stuff is not like the way you want it to be, you have to be mentally strong, to not just give in. That's like one part of it. And then there's another part of it, which is the part I learned about during my training, right? As I mentioned, which is being comfortable in the unknown. And what I mean about that is that there's all these things, right, that happen in life. Oh, well, let me set this down. There's all these things that happen in life. We go through it, and the rug gets pulled out from under our feet sometimes. That's just how life is, right? We go through life, and this stuff happens, right? And there are things that happen to us. I don't like saying that, because I like to think that most of the stuff we do in life is down to our actions and who we choose to be and what we choose to do. But there are stuff that happens to us, maybe deaths, stuff like that just happen in our life. It affects us, and that's the curveballs, right, that are thrown at us, and stuff that we must find ways to deal with. But the way that is separated from the other stuff is that it's unknown factors. Unknown factors is what you need to be good at handling, because it's the unknown factors that really punches through, right? When you learn about something, you learn about a fact that has an effect on this, something you didn't know previously. It's how you handle that situation, what happens right there, right then, your ability to move forward from that. That's essentially what's going to make it or break it for you. Or if it's not at least going to make it or break it, it's going to choose what starting point you're coming from when it comes to you actually, failing or failing and breaking from that, or simply saying, hey, this is just another challenge, but we are going to stay focused, we're going to stay on the path, and that's what's going to lead to you being able to push through that challenge, that adversity. And so that's like, you can split it up like that, because learning to deal with these curveballs that are thrown at you is probably the single biggest piece of advice for quality of life that anyone could do, because it happens to like everyone. There's absolutely zero people on the planet that do not experience these curveballs, that do not end up in situations where they're not end up in situations where they're just thrown about, and it seems like chaos. Chaos is just flooding in, and it's like, what do? Well, listen. The first time something like this happens, and this happens through all our life. Like ever since you're a kid, you've known of these situations, right? Hey, you didn't get that cereal or whatever. That's a curveball. Maybe you start crying, right? But you're a mature adult now, and so the way we go about dealing with this is that we do it the same way we do in the military, essentially. People like to hate a lot about first timers once they come into the military, and they're put under pressure with maybe they'll go without sleep. First time going without sleep for like a day or 24 hours or 48 hours, whatever, right? And it's funny to look back and be like, yeah, it was, this guy did that. Oh, he was totally down in the basement. Oh my God, right? But it's like that for everyone. Everyone has this first moment of like, holy moly, what's going on? And over time, right, just like with the military training, you get used to it. You get used to the lack of sleep. And trust me, this is just an extrapolation. I'm going to help you out with this. It's not about lack of sleep and learning to get good at lack of sleep. but you get better at it because you use, like, let's say a military exercise. Hey, we're going to this place, now we gotta double that distance and we can't sleep for another hour. The first time you've thrown that curveball, that's gonna be like, oh my God, when are we going to eat? Oh my God, right? So all these unknown factors, they have a really, really large effect on you, on your mood, on your actions, your quality of your next actions. But once you get used to, once those curveballs are thrown at you, you're actually, what you're doing when you're using that experience, that's why, you know, that's what it separates that's how you grow from that, right? Once you start doing these military exercises and, I'm gonna put in this in focus. Once you start going through these military exercises and you do this multiple times, you're like, hey, this curveball is thrown at me right now. I'm just going back to what I know worked, and I'm gonna do that for this one. Essentially, that's what's going on here subconsciously, right? Because you've gotten these curveballs thrown at you so many times right now, you know how to deal with it. You know the actions that you need to take in order for you to stay on the path, not break down and fail your team. Think of your team in this situation as yourself, as your other self. I tell this to people, this is how you need to think of it. You need to think that there's another person there that you're caring for. And so when that curveball is thrown at you, you need to be like, hey, I need to keep going for this person. This person right here, the other self, I can't let him down. I gotta, you know, I gotta stand up, keep my head up, right? And continue to perform every single day because I have someone right here that I need to take care of. And in the beginning, that's difficult. It is. It is for everyone. When the first time you lose someone you love, it's very difficult. It can be very difficult, depending on relationship, of course. There's always factors associated with this, on the situations, on everything, right? But you learn to deal with. It's always going to be difficult. And I'm not saying none of this is difficult. I'm saying that once you can deal with that one time, you can understand the factors that that teaches you how to deal with it the best way possible. You can build on top of that. And it doesn't mean that, hey, next time it's like you're not crying, you're not mourning the person that goes away, for example. It's just that you learn that, hey, this is this person passed. You tell this yourself subconsciously, essentially. You learn this subconsciously. Hey, the last time this happened, it hurt really bad, but I was fine with it. I learned how to deal with it. And so that's not what you're thinking, of course. Of course you're thinking that, hey, this is really sad. This is the person I loved. And that's what you're thinking consciously, but subconsciously, you've now gone through an experience where you dealt with a curveball and you've continued with the actions. Now you know that that's what that looked like and you can replicate that. That's how it is for everything when it comes to this. Replicating it. Because just like, let's say for for websites and stuff where you're testing headlines, see what converts and whatnot, you're split testing essentially. You're just replicating what works. Okay, last time I fell into a pit of alcoholism and all that, right? Well, now you know that's probably not a good idea, right? But like, let's say, hey, the last time something happened, I just continued with this one thing, and it was so easy to just deal with it. This is very common with, stuff that doesn't happen that often. Heartbreaks, for example, that's a big curveball to really, that a lot of people can relate to at least. And it's just done through having certain actions that keeps you on the path. But you need to learn what those are to you. Usually it will look like something, like that's you're already training, it will look like something, hey, I'm just gonna go there, I'm gonna go to the gym now because I'm so heartbroken, for example, I'm just gonna go there and do something. That's what that looks like. But you're essentially just learning to deal with this curveball because now the first time you didn't work out, you know how that was. It didn't work out. You got thrown off the path. You become a mess, just like someone with the first timer not getting any sleep on a military exercise, and they go all comatose on us. You can kind of compare those two. The second time, it's like, hey, last time I went all comatose on this field exercise, but now I still have some power in me, even though I haven't slept for 48 hours. That you can compare that to, hey, I'm going in the gym now, and I'm just doing a few sets and reps, and we're getting out of there. We're not actually doing that much work, we're just keeping going, okay? And then you can compare the next level of this, where you actually go through the steps of a lot of times, so you can recognize it. You kind of numb to it now in a way. It's like going to the gym. I'm doing the same exact work. I know this is what I need to do. I'm just staying on the path. We can compare that to someone who hasn't slept for 40 hours on a field exercise, and they know that, hey, I gotta eat my field ration. I gotta keep up my water drinking, you know, just to stay healthy, stay healthy in the mind, perform well in the field, the battle, right? So this is how we go about this, dealing with these curveballs, because this is all about the unknown. Dealing with the unknown, that's where the real challenge is. And that's what we need to get good at. And it's so important to learn to recognize what actually makes you perform when it comes to dealing with those unknown factors. When I run with people, right, I have a whole mindset mastery course coming out soon, by the way. That's going to be essentially just really, really solid stuff on how to actually build resilience, mental strength, through actionable steps, and not just some motivational speech, of course, because that's just, wishy-washy. This actual proper steps that I'm going to be releasing really, really soon through my superhero training program. Which, by the way, guys, if you want to train like me and absolutely, go to the next level when it comes to fitness and mindset, check out the link below. You can work with me. You can join the program just like everyone else is. You're doing great work, by the way. Absolutely phenomenal work. But anyways, I tell this people all the time, when it comes to, because I have this thing called a time squeeze, essentially, where essentially, I think I talked about this in the past too. There's this park over here in beautiful Bangkok, Thailand. There's this park over here. And this park, the first time I was there, it closed. When did it close? What was it happen? I don't know if it was the first time or not, but the park essentially closes at a certain time. And before it closes, you hear these whistles. The park guards, they blow these whistles, right? And me and my friend, we were on I think we were doing 20K or something, 20 kilometers. And when we heard these whistles, we were at a certain distance, right? And what essentially a time squeeze is you put in a situation, which is an unknown factor, right? You're suddenly thrown a curveball like these whistles. And you can either choose to, hey, I'm gonna just quit now, leave the park because I hear these whistles, or we can switch it up and be like, hey, now it's time to attack. Now it's time to actually go and get this. And that's what we do. That's how we deal with like a time squeeze right here. And you'll find this, right? This is the power of these actionable ways of building mindset, because once you can recognize the situations where this comes into play, whether that be in a sauna that closes in like 5 minutes, hey, we're gonna blast this sauna for 5 minutes. We don't know when it's gonna happen, right? Stuff like this, and just like switching it up to, hey, I'm gonna be on the attack, the offensive for this. When the unknown curveball is thrown at you, that's when we grow. That's when we grow. Just like when we're thrown the curveball of, hey, heartbreak. Hey, someone else passing away, someone we care about. Hey, something happened that we didn't know. When we go on the offensive, that's when we win. When we don't, cower down, when we go on the offensive, that's where the growth happens. And when we start replicating that time after time, we're gonna see massive growth to this and to this, our courage, the way we go about life in general. And this, guys, is just gonna do everything for you, I swear to God. This is the reason why I'm here right now. This is the reason I'm standing right here. Just because of these actions that I've done, once these curveballs have been taken over time, like this takes time. But it's like the first time you do it and the second time you do it, you start to recognize the pattern. Pattern recognition, guys, is the best thing. Us humans are the best species at pattern recognition. And this is why this is so powerful, because we can recognize we only need 2 times to recognize a pattern. A lot of other species, they need like 50, 60, they don't even recognize patterns. We can recognize a pattern after 2 times. We can see that, hey, this star right here and this star right here, it was the same exact position yesterday. And so when it comes to stuff like this, when it comes to, hey, I learned to deal with this in one way and it worked, we do that a second time, and now we have a blueprint for how we're gonna approach this the 3rd time. It's just that easy. And that's why this is so important, to be comfortable in the unknown, to learn what actions actually keeps you on the path, keeps you performing well, and doesn't allow you to, for example, get depressed. That's definitely something we want to avoid. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm going to get swimming now. Got a big session going. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Take care, and God bless. Boom!